Or should I move?
Yeah,
This
if I
is
stand
live.
here,
This is live.
if I stand here,
Stand there?
stand there.
Okay. And I can slide this over further if you want me to.
Yeah, I can just,
Yeah. And then when I go, I'll have to slide it back over because I can't see
yeah.
over anything.
Okay.
I'll just slide it this way.
Okay.
That.
I looked at my name and when I looked at other pages, I said, wait a minute, but I have it right here. I wasn't clear that the music.
Y'all set now? Okay, good. So I'll call you up. And that'll be your cue. Good. Thanks. Who are our students? Nickel and isn't Zakar?
Zakar. Yep.
And Nickel. Where are they?
They're right here. So Kyle, Dave, Nickel, who's fanning himself. Yeah. He just ran up.
So he's got honor pledge and he's president.
Yep.
So they're all set?
Yep.
Good. Dave Nickel and Kyle Zakar.
Yep.
Wish me luck.
Always.
I'm like, thank you. Really?
Well, there really is only one thing you have to worry about in this crowd, and that's the people who think that you're psychotic and they just start renting out something that's a lot of
I think I'll be okay. What do you think? Charles, sound right? want to hold a mic? You could practice posing.
Exactly. Stand by the phone.
Here. You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yes. Okay, I got it. This thing. Hi. Good day. How are you?
Good, how you doing? There's a little switch on this camera there. You want to just put on before you start. You don't burn the batteries too much. It's right
This?
there.
Just
Yeah.
switch that on. This one's on. Do I do
Yes.
both?
No, this one's on already.
Okay. You want me to turn that one on too?
Please, yeah, if you can just.
Okay. It won't be too much?
No. It's very simple. It's just.
No, I meant too much sound.
No, it's for just recording purposes.
Oh,
It's not amplified.
gotcha. I thought I had too much.
Just
I'm
to make
like,
camera.
"Whoa,
Just to make
that's pretty loud.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So just switch this up. Got it. All right, where's my, I think my thing. Oh, sorry. This is my fan.
Take your time.
It's bad to be like a middle-aged lady having hot flashes during this, I'll tell you. Don't think about that when you're singing, okay?
No.
I won't forget you. I promise. Do you want to give me a sign if I do? Like, what should we do? All right.
Standing and looking at the crowd now helps me calm.
Yeah, because otherwise, that's why I come up here. Like, I
Yeah.
practice saying it in front of all these
Yeah.
people, and then they become like my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be scary, like, in front of strangers,
Yes.
but not so scary in front of friends.
I know.
Yeah, we're the same. We look alike in everything. Same height.
Are we twin?
We might be.
Maybe.
Can I introduce you as my twin? Sure. They're so excited they wouldn't even catch it, you know?
No.
Keep going. So when we start, do you mind lifting up your microphone so I can read?
Sure.
Otherwise I'll be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. You have all the words memorized to your song. I don't have
Yeah.
my words memorized. Please stand for the arrival of the Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, Acting Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. You may be seated for just a moment. We're just working on getting a little exercise in before the ceremony begins. Turn the recording off or leave it on? Just leave it on. Should I just leave that on?
I don't know.
I'll just leave it on. I don't want him to yell at me.
I know.
It gets ugly when I get mad. I turn into the Hulk. Please stand for the arrival of His Excellency, Mr. Charles Savran, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Savran. Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors.
Presidential salute. Present.
Isle of beauty, Isle of splendor, Isle to all so sweet and fair. All must surely gaze in wonder at thy gift so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills, and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy land so like all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet waves o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Mr. Joseph and Mr. Crawford, for your beautiful renditions of the national anthems. Please remain standing for the morning prayer of the physician, led by Dr. Ricardo Hood.
And good afternoon. Semester 1. If you would recite this with me, please. O God, let my mind be ever clear and enlightened. Okay. By the bedside of the patient, let no alien thought deflect it. Let everything that experience and scholarship have taught it be present in it. And hinder it not in its tranquil work. For great and noble are those scientific judgments that serve the purpose of preserving. The health and the lives of thy creatures. Keep far from me the delusion that I can accomplish all things. Give me the strength, the will, and the opportunity to amplify my knowledge. Which yesterday I would not have dreamt of. For the art is great, but the human mind presses untiringly. In the patient, let me ever see only the man. Thou all-bountiful one hast chosen me to watch over the life and death of thy creatures. I prepare myself now for my calling. Stand thou by me in this great task, so that it may prosper. For without thine aid, man prospers not, even in the smallest things. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hood. Please be seated. After such a beautiful introduction, let me officially welcome everyone to the White Coat Ceremony for the class of 2019. Yay. I'd like to start off by welcoming and thanking His Excellency, Mr. Charles Savran, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Savran for being here today. I'd also like to thank the Honorable Dr. McIntyre, he's the Acting Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Honorable Ian Douglas, I think I saw, he's right down here. Thank you for being with us. The Honorable Kenneth Daru, he's not here today, okay. The Honorable Peter St. Jean, not here today either, okay. This one I know, Dr. Dorian Shillingford is here. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Shillingford. And Dr. Thomas Hollinger, our Chair of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for being here. I'd also like to welcome the other dignitaries and specially invited guests who are here with us. I'd like to welcome our faculty, our staff, the family and friends who are here celebrating with us today, as well as those who are joining us online. As many of you know, this is being streamed on the internet so people can see it all across the world. The students all knew that because they were doing the wave, they were waving to people before you all came in. And as the Senior Associate Dean for Students, I would like to extend a special welcome to our incoming class. We are delighted that you are here. At this time, I have the privilege to introduce the Honorable Ian Douglas, who is the Minister of Trade, Energy and Employment, and the Parliamentary Representative for the Portsmouth constituency. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wales. Your Excellency, President Charles Savary and Mrs. Savary, Acting Prime Minister Dr. Colin John McIntyre, Dr. Flaherty, Executive Dean and Chancellor, Dr. Hollinger, Dr. White, Dr. Allison Doby, and my friends, of course, I can't miss Dr. Askin and Dr. and Mrs. Rios. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Dr. Shillingford and Dr. Johnson, the faculty and staff of the Ross University, other distinguished guests, our keynote speaker, Dr. Bayani, most importantly, students, first semester Ross University students, good afternoon and welcome to the Commonwealth of Dominica, the nature island of the world. Welcome. Are you happy to be here? Yes. Well, let me just tell you that you're actually in the nature island of the world right now, with 365 rivers, one for every day of the year, and numerous hot springs that you can rejuvenate in, and flowing waterfalls. I mean, the entire island is a virtual Garden of Eden. Fresh fruits and vegetables. We have more than 20 persons on the island right now that are alive beyond the age of 100 years. And even here in Portsmouth, one of our centenarians who died a couple of years ago actually lived for 118 years. And her birth certificate could not be found, and that's why she did not enter the Guinness Book of World Records. I think some of the professors at Ross actually started doing some research. So you are actually in the Garden of Eden. It is in Dominica that you will live the longest, more than anywhere else in the world. So thank you for choosing Ross University to pursue your medical career. I think you could not have chosen a better place. For 37 years, we have worked tirelessly to make this institution perhaps the best medical institution in the world. Ross University churns out more residencies perhaps other than any other university, medical university, maybe outside of the US, and probably rivals a lot of US medical schools. So you are in fact at the best university. When we started off 37 years ago, I was but a toddler, but I have been very close to the school. We are like families. This is not just a medical educational institution, but we are like family. It was my father before me who was the Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister at the time, who sat with Dr. Robert Ross, who had established a school with just about 7 students, not too very far away, about 20 miles away, in an old hotel. And my father invited him to come down because he was the member of parliament for this area, to come down and take a look at what used to be an old banana plantation. And Dr. Ross, after having visited about 7 other Caribbean islands, he started in the Bahamas and toured the entire chain of islands, fell in love with Dominica. He decided that that would be one of the best places to set up a medical school, because there are so many attributes to this island that lends itself to studying and becoming successful. And over the years, we have built a very good relationship. The people of the town of Portsmouth, and in fact, the entire island of Dominica, have embraced Ross University and have cradled the school to where it is today, to the great success that it has become. And just yesterday, we grew from strength to strength. We inaugurated a state-of-the-art study center right here on campus. I believe that building can rival any facility anywhere in the world, and we are very happy to be part of it. And that's why we, as the locals on Dominica, we have set up every single facility to create every service here in the Picard and the Portsmouth area for your convenience, so that you can concentrate on your studies. You have nothing to worry about. Every single facility has been created. Even the apartments that you will stay in are about some of the best in the world, with some of the best amenities. I remember back in the 80s when the rooms were basic, and now you have real comfortable apartments that you can settle in. The security all over, not only on campus, but around Picard, is second to none, and we really look out and look after you as family while you are here. So once again, on behalf of the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica, I welcome you to the nature island of the world. And as the congressman for the Portsmouth, for the town of Portsmouth and the constituency, well, we don't say congressman, but we say the member of parliament, I want to especially welcome you to Portsmouth. And being part of the Ross family, I say that you could not have chosen a better place to study. Godspeed, and I wish you success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ian Douglas, for your very warm and heartfelt welcome to your island. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium Dr. Joseph Flaherty. He is our Chancellor and Executive Dean for Ross University's School of Medicine. He's your Dean.
Good afternoon. Is everybody reasonably happy? Anybody nervous? Too honest. Everybody excited? You've waited a long time to be here. Some of you 20 years. Some of you since kindergarten. Some of you just last week decided, but you're all here. We're happy to have you, and importantly, you can all make it. You can all graduate. Takes some work, though. First, I want to just acknowledge what's been acknowledged. You are in amazing country. In the United States, colleges, starting with Harvard and some prestigious colleges, wanted to develop learning communities. How we'll all learn together, maybe a learning community for people in political science and one in English literature will live together and eat together and have some graduate assistance, etc. Well, you're in a genuine medical learning community that is where else, when you ask your friends in medical school, do the President, Mrs. Savarin, thank you so much for being here, the Prime Minister, and of course the incomparable Minister Ian Douglas, and members of the cabinet and government, Dr. Dorian Shillingford, show up for your white coat ceremony. And I'll tell you why. They're as committed as Ross is to your success. The whole community is. How you're housed, where you can get food, things you can do, boats you can rent, places you can go, transportation. The faculty is genuinely committed to your success. We all want you to make it. So a lot depends on you. A great American novelist, William Faulkner, once was asked, what does it take to be a great writer? And he said, paper, pencils, and bourbon. No, I'm not recommending the bourbon, but what does it take to have a medical school? It's really as simple. Students, patients, and teachers. Okay? So let me just go over that a little bit. Dr. Wales will tell you exactly the makeup of your class in terms of students. I will tell you in general, you are a superb group. Why don't you give yourself some credit, right? It's a group we are proud to have. I'm always annoyed when a reporter asks us, now, does Ross have admission standards? You bet we do. And MCATs and grade point averages and letters of recommendation, and you've all gone through that process and are here. You're also a very diverse group. You are going to learn a lot about culture just talking to your classmates. Dr. Wales will tell you how many languages you speak, but you look around, you come from a variety of different backgrounds. Even if you're mostly U.S. and Canadians, your families came from many other places. You bring a richness, your outlook on human life and death, and you should learn from each other. So we've got an exceptional student body. Our students have great resilience. You've had setbacks. All of you have had setbacks. And most of your colleagues that had a setback maybe didn't get into the medical school they wanted to originally. Many gave up. You didn't give up. You persevered, you have resilience, you have like what we like to call grit. So much for the students. What about the faculty? One of the amazing things about a school like Ross is our primary mission and secondary mission is education. There are great U.S. schools. Their primary mission is research. Their secondary mission is clinical care. And their third mission is education. Our first and second mission is education. We pick our faculty because that's what they want to do. We have a very dedicated group. We have an outstanding group in the basic sciences that come from all over the U.S. and Europe, with a strange concentration from the UK, and very good. We have an outstanding clinical faculty. I think we counted some 35, Nancy, that are here to help you learn how to talk to patients, do a history and physical, and be able to go through the basic mechanisms even before you start your clinical rotations in the States. And finally, what about patients? Well, we've got simulation, we've got standardized patients. We are really blessed through the work of Dr. Grell and others that we have community-based patients that we can go and interview and learn to talk to. But I'll add the one thing that I started with. We also have the country of Dominica as a patient, as a laboratory, because all of medicine, in addition to genomics and post-genomics, is moving to population-based medicine. How do you learn to work with a community? Not just deliver sick care to a patient with pneumonia, but how do you look at what are the most common causes of pneumonia in Dominica? What do people die of in Dominica? And conversely, how do they live so long? What are the risk factors that they've gotten around? Is it genetic? Is it diet? Is it walking to the mountains to take care of their gardens? What kind of things can you learn here? Because you have an opportunity. Take advantage of it. You're in a special place, a special country. We know you're going to succeed, so welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Flaherty. As you may know, Ross University School of Medicine has one purpose, one mission, one dream. And that is, we want to offer you the opportunity to fulfill your dream of becoming a physician and healer. Since 1978, more than 11,000 students have graduated with their MD from Ross. Additionally, over the past 10 years, Ross has placed more graduates in U.S. residency slots than any other medical school in the world. That's so important, I'm going to slow down and say it one more time. Over the past 10 years, Ross University School of Medicine has placed more graduates in U.S. residency slots than any other medical school in the world. Yeah. So we can and do make dreams come true. And we're very proud of the diversity of our students who represent many cultures, religions, and ethnic backgrounds. We are quite simply delighted to have you all here, okay? This is where we get to the fun stuff. Ready? There are 264 of you in this class. 50.4% of you are male. 49.6% of you are female. So for our mathematicians in the group, that means there are 2 more guys out there than women in the class. Your average age is 26, and you range in age, sorry. These are the adjustments you make for short people at the podium, sorry. Right. You range in age from 20 to 53. So I won't ask you to identify which side of the continuum you fall on there. Your average GPA is 3.3, and your average MCAT score is 24. You're invited to do so, okay? There is a 3-way tie for the undergraduate university sending the most graduates to your class. And the tie is between, I need a drum roll. Okay, ready? Florida International University. Okay. The University of California, Davis. I don't think they were as loud as. All right. And then the third, University of Toronto. Whoa. Did you hear that? Okay. There is also a tie for the school sending the second most highest number of graduates to your class. And that's a tie between. Ready? The University of California at Irvine. Oh, all right. And Rutgers University. Okay. So then we'll round out the top three in terms of the highest number of graduates sent to your class. And this is the first time on the list. Ready? This is Oakland University. Come on, Oakland. All right. Okay. The most common first name in your class is. Ready? Christopher. All right, let's hear it for the Christophers, yeah. There is a tie. There's a tie for the second most common first name in your class. It's a four-way tie between, very good, Samantha, okay, Robert, oh, that was almost sad. Okay. Let's try it again. Robert. Yeah. Andrew. And rounding out the group is Stephen. Okay. All right. There is also a tie for the most common last name in your class. And the tie is between. Ready? Singh. And, want to guess? Everyone guess Patel. It's Khan. That's the first time Patel is not on that list. There is, however, a 13-way tie between the second most common last name in your class, so I'm not going to read the list unless you really want me to, but Patel is on the list, as is Johnson and Williams. Okay. So the point of all that is please be sure to use your full name and your banner ID on all official communications. As a class, you were born in 50 unique countries. 141 of you were born in the US. Yeah? Yeah. 19 in India. Okay. Not as loud. I expect this one to be loud. 18 from Canada. In terms of U.S. residents, 44 of you are from California. That's right. 29 from? Ooh, so I've heard New York. I've heard it's Florida. And rounding out the top three, 25 are from? Ooh, good. The big state of Texas. In terms of the most represented Canadian province, we have, ooh, I heard, Ontario. Members of your incoming class have participated in a diverse array of activities. More than 65 of you have volunteered with nonprofit charities and organizations. Yeah, that's pretty great. There are over 65 athletes in this group, which is pretty impressive. I included in there coaches, lifeguards. We have one student who was a professional triathlete. Pretty impressive. We have another who was an athletic basketball league champion. And we even have an NCAA Division I athlete in fencing. Wow. All right. About 14 of you participated in sororities and fraternities. Okay. And we have a boatload of musicians. Over 20 of you are musicians. Yeah. We have several singers, including 2 who prefer to sing a cappella. Yeah. I don't know how good you are, but you like to do that. That's great. And we have several people who play instruments. So some of the instruments that you play include guitar. Not many guitarists, okay. Piano or keyboard. We have saxophone players. Congratulations for those of you who live near them. We have drummers, and we have folks who play the clarinet. And this is one of my favorites. I haven't seen it before, but I just love this one. One of your fellow classmates was a cuddler for newborns. Isn't that wonderful? I just love it. That was my favorite ever. So I know they're all going, oh, I want to be a cuddler. Your fellow classmates come to us with interesting prior occupations and experiences. Members of your class include over 105 medical professionals. Yeah. So in your class, we have pharmacy technicians, we have RNs, laboratory technologists, we have scribes, we have medical assistants, we have nursing assistants, we have EMTs, we have paramedics, we have phlebotomists, and we even have an ophthalmic technician. So for all of those without medical experience, buddy up with some of those folks, okay? Even if they play the clarinet or saxophone. 40 of you were teachers, teaching assistants, and or tutors. We even have in this class our very own dog trainer, which hopefully will help us with the dogs on campus policy. We have over 20 students in this class who have authored or co-authored publications in major medical journals. Yep. And we even have a few celebrities in the class. One student is a member of Mensa. Yeah. One student received a certification of recognition from the United States Senate for work with the Boys and Girls Club. And this I didn't know existed. One student placed 4th in the Paintball World Cup. Yeah. The point of all that is we welcome you and we celebrate your diversity. We're very glad you're here. And at this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Stanley White, our interim senior associate dean for the Dominica campus, to the podium. And his job today is to introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you, Dr. White.
Thank you, Dr. Wales. Good afternoon, everyone. We tried this morning, didn't we? Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so it's my great pleasure to introduce today's white coat keynote speaker, Dr. Michiel Biani. He's a graduate of the class of 2003 and is currently working in Dallas, Texas. He's licensed in the states of Illinois and Texas and certificated by the American Board of Internal Medicine. He was born in 1976 in the Star City. Anybody know where that is? It's Roanoke, Virginia. Its original name was the Big Lick, and I don't really know why they changed the name. He attended the University of Utah, where he graduated in 1998 with a bachelor's degree in biology. In Utah, he was a regular name on the dean's list and was the recipient of several awards from the Hughes Biological Program, as well as an Academic Achievement Award from the Center of Ethnic Student Affairs. His undergraduate research interests were in visual and auditory neuroscience. So he came to Dominica in 1999 and spent his 4 semesters here. I bet he wishes there was an IGA then, and let alone a student center of the type that you're all now enjoying. So like many students, he did find time to travel around, and he told me that he'd pretty much visited all of the features of the island except Boiling Lake, which you may know is an 8-hour round trek for physically fit individuals. So I offered to arrange transport for him to take him to the beginning of the trek, but he declined and said he would wait till there were supervised helicopter tours available. So he's clearly a smart guy. After graduation, he was a resident at Mercy Hospital in Chicago, and then an infectious disease fellow from 2006 to 2008 in the Department of Medicine at the University of Illinois. I sort of know somebody from the University of Illinois, but I don't recall. During his career, so far, he's contributed and published research on HIV. He's received a recognition award from the Math and Science Academy of Illinois for the development of a rapid testing protocol for HIV infection, as well as an award for mentoring students. He has made a number of media appearances talking on the subject of H1N virus, for instance, on ABC 8, NBC 5, and Fox News, but you can't have everything. He has received the Top Doctors Award from the Fort Worth Academy, and is listed in the Cambridge Who's Who of Executives, Professionals, and Entrepreneurs. He's also a member of the executive board of Pratham DFW, a charitable foundation that raises funds for education of impoverished children in India. He's also a member of our alumni council. So in short, he typifies the sort of work ethic, achievements, and social values of most of our graduates and most of our students. And so it's a great pleasure for me to invite him to the podium to deliver the May 2015 keynote address. Dr. Bayani.
All right, I probably don't need this box. No problem. I have to respect people who are shorter than me. Good afternoon, first semester students, family members, and of course, distinguished guests, the Honorable Mr. President Charles Savarin, Mrs. Savarin, the Honorable Acting Prime Minister McIntyre, the ministers who serve on the cabinet, Dr. Johnson, the Minister of Health, and of course, Honorable Mr. Douglas, and of course, Dr. Schillingford, who oversees the Dominican Medical Board. And I would like to, first of all, start off with a thanks to Dr. Flaherty, Dr. White, and of course, this week I got to know Dr. Doby, Dr. Wells, and of course, I know Dr. Grell since I was a first semester student like you guys, you know, and the respected family, the faculty members. It was great having dinner with some of these faculty members. We reflected on the past, and I'm just really happy that we have this lasting relationship even after I've graduated. And also a big thanks to the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Hollinger, for being here, and also the administration at Ross University School of Medicine in Dominica and Florida. And also a big thanks to Ms. Williams, Dr. White's assistant, and her office staff for arranging this for me to make it down here. And the biggest thanks to my dad. Without his support and motivation, when I was and ever since the day I went to school, I would not be standing here giving this speech. All right, now let me talk about my experience here, which you guys I'm dying to hear, I bet. Anyways, I start off every speech with a quote. And one of the quotes that I always start off and always look back at is Dr. William Osler. Dr. William Osler is a father of modern medicine. He created the first residency program for specialty training of physicians in the early part of the 20th century. The whole purpose for Dr. Osler was to bring medical students out of the lecture hall for bedside clinical training. And of course, that's what you'll be doing here at Ross University. Dr. Osler said, quote, "The best preparation for tomorrow is to do today's work superbly well." And I'm going to do my best in tying my experiences here on Dominica and how I can perform what I am doing right now. So it started off when I first arrived at this island. At the school, it was a beautiful ride from the airport to the school. Of course, there were cattle on campus. And being from, of course I was born in Virginia, but raised in Utah. Cattle does not faze me, whatever. But we had people from California like on the cattle grazing on the campus. I was like, no biggie. Doesn't bother us. We know what we're here for is a good medical education. And of course, the roads are unpaved. And of course, we're sitting at what is now the Ross University housing. It was called the Portsmouth Beach Hotel. Really nice hotel overlooking the Caribbean Sea. The power goes out, and a bunch of us were sitting at the table thinking amongst ourselves, how are we going to make it through here throughout the semesters? And actually, by the way, we were the last 5th semester on the island. So you guys will be here for 4 semesters. So we're sitting over here like, how are we going to make it through this? It's dark. It's going to be a dark journey. You know, is this going to be conducive to our medical education? Well, we'll give it a trial run. 16 years ago, I attended the white coat ceremony, and yes, there was power during the white coat ceremony. It was not in the dark. I was in the same seat as all of you, and I'm sure all of you guys are nervous. Thoughts are crossing your mind. I'll tell you what was crossing through my mind when I sat in the exact same seats. I was like, will I do well in the basic sciences? The first 4 semesters, get into the 3rd and 4th year clinical clerkships? Once I get into clinical clerkships, will I succeed and move on into residency? What is a USMLE like? Is it any different than the MCAT? That was going through the mind as the deans, administration, faculty were all speaking. You know, and as an alumnus of the Ross University School of Medicine, I'm privileged to say after my experience here in Dominica for the basic sciences, and of course my clinical training was in Chicago for my clinical sciences, and that was the foundation of my medical career. My foundation began here. This is the base. You will learn the anatomy, the physiology, the pathology, the pharmacology, and of course the introduction of clinical medicine, which starts early on. After taking the countless mini exams, shelf exams, which are the retired questions by the National Board of Medical Examiners, and which Ross does a great job of implementing that into the curriculum, it was on to studying for the USMLE Step 1. And I'll tell you that, and I'm telling you the truth, that you're going to get the excellent preparation for board exams from here on out. And I can vouch for that. While in Dominica, not only did I learn the basic sciences, but of course how to respect the local people, fellow classmates, school officials, and the office staff who handle the day-to-day activities here at Ross University to help the students achieve their goal. I came here on Tuesday afternoon, met a lot of people here on the island, here at the university who are here actually when I was here back in '99 and 2000, and they still remembered me and my friends. Like I said, this is a long-lasting relationship. It all starts here, and it'll carry on. You never know in your medical career when you'll run into each other, just like Dr. Flaherty. Dr. Flaherty, we know each other from University of Illinois, Chicago, and that was all part of me being there in Chicago because I fell in love with the city. Anyways, compassion and respect plays an integral role in our day-to-day interactions with our patients, nurses, and attending physicians. As a medical student in clinical rotations, our patients were our textbooks. We analyzed the situation, we applied that medical knowledge, and formulated a diagnosis. Subsequently, we discussed this differential diagnosis, of course, with our resident physicians, and came up with a treatment plan. This was during our 3rd and 4th year. This treatment plan, along with the differential diagnosis, had to be approved by our attending physician. And believe me, when I was a 3rd and 4th year medical student, after doing the basic science thing, the Step 1, I thought I was the king of the hill. But boy, when you start talking to that attending physician, you kind of feel like, hey, you got a long ways to go. But our attending physicians would praise us or criticize us. But at the end, I realized our superiors wanted us to succeed, even though they criticized us. Hence the criticism if we made a mistake, but the praise was there also. And of course, we make a mistake, our superiors showed us the way to correct ourselves so we don't make the same errors when we are there bedside taking care of patients. In my clinical years of medical school, I developed a close working relationship with my attending physicians. As a result, upon graduation from Ross University School of Medicine, I stayed in Chicago for my internal medicine residency and infectious disease fellowship training at, of course, University of Illinois in Chicago. What a dynamic city. The only thing that was not dynamic was the brutal sub-zero temperatures in December and January. And especially if you're the doctor on call and there's like a weather alert, you know, good luck. You better have good tire traction. During my residency and fellowship, I came across all people of all walks of life, and my practice remained the same, irrespective of the patient's socioeconomic status. At the end of the day, we have to remember this. We are all humans. And as we don these white coats, they symbolize our commitment to the medical profession and serve as symbol of service to all mankind. Perhaps I learned more from my patients since they were in my textbooks, and if I had any clinical challenges, I would turn to my medical references. And of course, thank goodness for UpToDate.com. It was there. But the patients are your primary textbooks once you get in the clinical setting. After taking 5 board exams in 7 years, this is why Ross University is important, 5 board exams in 7 years, the journey continues as I've entered the realm of being an attending physician. Instead of taking exams every year, I have to focus on continuing my medical education within my specialty. So let me tell you, learning does not even stop once you leave Ross. If anything else, Ross provides you the tools in enhancing your medical education even after graduation. I have to recertify my specialty every 10 years. The education never ends. I just told someone recently, I'm not an attending physician. And my patients don't even see me as an attending physician. I mean, nobody around me sees me as an attending physician. I tell them I'm a postgraduate year number 12. No. So a little bit of history here. When I started in '99 here and graduated in 2003, the world of medicine changed, especially throughout my journey here, and especially in the area of infectious disease. Of course, we talk about how the world is becoming a smaller place. All of you know how Ebola here made it onto of course, in the United States, in the city I practice in, Dallas, of course, one of my sister hospitals. And let me tell you, that was an adventure. That was the most interesting challenge I've faced. And of course, my basis of research when I was a fellow at the University of Illinois Chicago was on universal HIV testing. When the Centers for Disease Control recommended universal HIV testing for anyone between the ages of 13 to 64, how are physicians going to be able to do this? With the help of my mentor, Dr. Novak, in the section of infectious disease, who's now the chairman of infectious disease, and in the emergency room, Dr. Sinclair, we came up with a testing protocol to test anyone over the age of 18 who comes to the emergency room with rapid HIV testing. We had a grant support, and also you don't need consent unless the patient opts out for the testing. We got these people tested and got a paper published. So now we have HIV diagnosis within 20 minutes. Also, people with HIV are living normal and healthy lives thanks to multiple classes of HIV medications. Single fixed dose tablets once daily with fewer side effects are available. People with HIV are living normal, healthy lives just like people with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. Also now hepatitis C can be treated with 12 weeks of therapy in a pill form. No need for injections once a week, this or that, and having the side effects that land you in the hospital bed. And people after 52 weeks do not have a single detectable virus in their blood. However, the biggest challenge in my specialty is, of course, the world is shrinking. Global infectious disease is coming to the forefront, especially we've seen with Ebola, the Middle Eastern respiratory virus, of course, the SARS virus in 2003, but that's good. The world is getting smaller. People are in touch with one another. And of course, we have bacteria, which have become resistant to multiple antibiotics. And now the term multi-drug resistant superbugs is now a common word in the lay press. The other day I had a patient who came up to me to use the abbreviation of multi-drug resistant organisms, said, "Hey doctor, what do you think of these MDROs?" I was like, "How do you know this?" It's because it's in the lay press. It's a problem. It's there. Anyways, that was my journey. Today is your day, a new chapter in your professional life. As you wear the white coat, be proud of the medical profession. The white coat is a symbol of medicine. Wear it with pride. Patients will always recognize you as a compassionate physician with humility. In summary, I'll tie Dr. Osler's quote, "The best preparation for tomorrow is to do today's work superbly well," and that journey begins here at Ross University School of Medicine. Your journey through Ross University will be a memorable experience. I encourage you guys to explore the island, get to know the local Dominicans. I'll tell you, when I left this island after I finished my clinical stick, my USMLE, one of the local people who used to cook for us because she was so worried about us that we're not eating anything because we're too busy studying, she wrote me a letter when I was in Miami when I was in Chicago doing my training. And it was really heartfelt, and I still have that letter with me. Why would somebody remember you? Because you left a lasting impression. And when I came here 4 days ago, I felt that lasting impression is still there. Especially when I walked down the shacks, a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, we remember you. You and your friends would come down here and eat, pick up fresh fruits." You know, that's because they remember you for something. Get to know the people, get to know the island. It's a blessing to be here in such a diverse, university. You guys come from various locations, and also this island has a lot to offer. Take advantage of that. As a PGY-12, I've learned to respect, be compassionate, and be humble towards the people I came across during my journey. And like I said, it all started here 16 years ago. And I always use a quote from Star Wars, as Master Yoda says, "May the Force be with you." Best of luck in preparation for tomorrow, and all of you are in the right place to accomplish this lifelong task.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayani, for your inspiring words of wisdom for our students. Dr. Nancy Selfridge, our Assistant Dean for Clinical Medicine, will provide us with information or with an introduction to the medical profession. Dr. Selfridge.
Oh, Dr. Hood. Exceeds expectations. So that's an inside joke. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all our esteemed guests, but most importantly, welcome to our new students. Now, we are familiar with one another, and I want you to relax because there will be no mini questions coming from this presentation. You know how I like to announce that. All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of cultural literacy here, and I'm going to show you two pictures we show every white coat ceremony, and this is because the white coat has a little bit of a history. So Thomas Eakins was a famous American artist, the realist school, and he produced both of these paintings that show surgeons in attendance to a patient receiving surgery in an operating theater. And this is, you can see the dates down here. On your left, you see Dr. Gross and his surgeons, and the patient there is receiving limb-saving surgery for osteomyelitis. But notice what the physicians and attendants are wearing. They're wearing street clothes. They're wearing their dark street clothes. Now, the advantage to the dark is that you can stain them with a lot of stuff and it doesn't show. Ew. Contrast this with the Agnew Clinic on the right, 14 years later, and look at the difference. This reflects a change in our notions about surgical hygiene and about infection control in general, evolving in that 14 years. So now you see the surgeon in attendance wearing white, and their street clothes are underneath their white cloaks. So this is the beginning of the use of white being associated with the work of the physician. Now, what does the white coat mean now? Some of you are saying, oh, that's so creepy. She sneaked into my apartment and took a picture this morning. I didn't. I found it on the internet. That's more creepy. Not Facebook, the internet. Okay, so today is the very last day that you're going to wear your hat, and definitely you might, well, maybe you won't snuggle up with it. I did. Anyway, next. You will be taking call, and you will be up all night, and you will be wearing your white coat all night long. Thus, it becomes pajamas. I hope you aren't really wearing it at home for pajamas. A child frightener. In pediatrics, this is actually a fact. The white coat scares children, which is why a lot of my pediatrician colleagues just stop wearing white coats once they get out of their training and into practice. A sauna, that is definitely so. You will experience that possibly in a couple of weeks when you do your first clinical skills training in the lab and have to wear your white coat in Dominica, which is now summertime. I appreciated it as insulation. I was working in the upper Midwest, Wisconsin. Great to have an extra layer. A hazmat suit. I don't want to paint any word pictures for you about the body fluids that you can protect your clothes and body from by wearing a white coat. Oh, a shield when your heart is breaking. I don't want to be negative, but a medical career is full of drama and pathos. You will encounter a lot of emotion, and it's okay. And as delightful as it is, sometimes it is heartbreaking as well. I hope you feel enough to feel your heart breaking, but wearing your white coat helps because we remember why we're present and why we chose to expose ourselves to all of this. It's an indicator that it's time to do the laundry and sometimes the ironing. A hair shirt when you're struggling with yourself or the shortcomings of the profession. Yes, there are some, and we deal with it. If you don't find yourself questioning, did I do the right thing? Did I pick the right thing? Then I would say you're not reflective enough because weak. So this is what Anna Quinlan, who's a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, and she spoke at the AAMC, the Association of American Medical Colleges meeting in November of 2013. She said this, by virtue of choosing the profession, we patients expect you to be better than the rest of us. And then she went on and spoke for about 40, 50 minutes about what we were expected to be better at. And I distilled it a little bit into this word cloud, but we talked about this last week as well. We're really supposed to be better at everything. And remember, medical knowledge is important, and all of you are going to focus on that and worry that you need to succeed, which you do. But there are so many other skills and qualities of character that also need to be developed and nurtured here. Aristotle said, educating the mind without the heart is not education at all. So I want you to know at Ross, we're committed to educating your minds, and we will give you what you need to pass board exams. But at the same time, we will be watching you and caring for you deeply, and also cultivating your heart in the same manner. Dr. Arthur Townsend was a graduate of Meharry University at the turn of the century, not the 21st century, the 20th century, so around 1910 or so. And he said the good physician does all the good he can to all the people he can in all the ways he can. Now think about that. That's a tall order. This is what I add to it, 24/7. Because the work you do becomes part of your identity. It is who you are in the world. And you don't drop it just because you're walking away to work, driving home, or on your way to work, driving to work, or going on vacation. Many of you will render assistance even when you're not on duty, and it's going to be part of who you are. Hippocrates was also one of our fathers, not necessarily modern medicine, but still. He said, life is short, the art long, opportunity fleeting, experiment treacherous, judgment difficult. He's talking about medicine, folks. For the medical man and woman sees terrible sights, touches unpleasant things, and the misfortune of others bring a harvest of sorrows that are peculiarly his, added, or hers. But the sick, by means of the art, rid themselves of the worst of evils, disease, suffering, pain, and death. The good and the bad of it, right? So Dr. Townsend said this, for him who fails to make a religion, and by religion I think he meant a heartfelt, faithful commitment, who fails to make religion of the healing art, it is the most cheerless, wearisome, and thankless labor on earth. It can be. But to him who has the rightly formed concepts of the true mission of the physician, the practice of medicine is a source of joy and pleasure. Now notice he's talking about the practice of medicine. Everybody says, oh, yeah, first, basic science part of medical education is so hard. Yes, it's hard, but it's all hard. So I think what's going to happen is what has been happening since I arrived at Ross in 2009. I'm going to get to know, I hope I get to know all of you, but I know I'm going to get to know many of you. I'm going to get to know your names, and I'm going to recognize your faces, and we're going to pass on campus many times and greet one another. And every once in a while, we'll have time to stop and chat, and I'll say, how are you doing? And you're going to answer, some of you, by saying, oh, Dr. Selfridge, it's fine, but it's hard. It's so hard. Usually in reference to pharmacology. Where's Dr. Bateson? Sorry. That's kind of true. And then what's going to happen, because I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity, is I'm going to give you my very favorite quote for a medical student, and it comes from this guy. Who is who? Tom Hanks, and do you know the movie? Good, excellent. No tests on that then. So Tom Hanks is a washed-up baseball player who is now alcoholic. He's been injured, and he finds himself coaching a women's baseball team, and this is during World War II, when a lot of the male athletes have been drafted into the U.S. military and are not available. So women's baseball becomes extremely popular, and he's got a great team. But his star player, played by Gina Davis, is walking away. She's walking away from the game and the team, from baseball. And he comes running after her, and he says, it's okay. If you want to go home and make a lot of babies, that's fine with me, but you love this sport. I need to know why. And she said, it just got too hard. So he said this to her, and I will say it to you. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great. So welcome everyone to the very first step of your chosen career, to the hardness and greatness of all of it.
Thank you, Dr. Selfridge. We will now commence with the very important and exciting activity of donning your white coats. At the back, right? The ushers will give you the cue to stand up. When you're given that cue, you stand up, then you follow the directions. They'll send you down this center aisle, right? You'll come down the center aisle, and then you'll be directed to a pair of faculty members. So the pair will include a clinician in a white coat and generally a basic scientist who's not in a white coat, right? So you'll go to the pair. The person in the white coat will put your white coat on, and the person who's not in a white coat will hand you a pin. Then you'll go back up the sides, and you'll be greeted by either Dr. Joseph Flaherty or Dr. Stan White. They'll shake your hand, you'll exchange greetings, they'll give you a scroll, and you'll go back to your seat, okay? So it's easy. We're going to make 4 concurrent squares, right? You'll stand up, come down the center, go all the way to the end. So if you are the first person in line, right, you go to the pair of faculty members all the way at the end. If you're the second person in line, you go to the pair of faculty members second from the end. Got it? Third, we got this. Okay, so you'll stand up, come down the center, go across the front, back up the sides, back to your seat, right? So I don't want you to fail your first test in medical school. Everybody got this? Okay. And before we begin, I'll let you think about this for just a second. One person that I wanted to introduce to you is Dr. Gennady Raskin. Dr. Raskin, would you mind standing up? So, all our MERPers out there know Dr. Raskin, right? And Dr. Raskin was also the Senior Associate Dean on this campus before becoming Dean of MERP. So that's why I wanted to say a special hello to you. Okay, so ready? You got it? Up, down the middle, across the front, up the sides, back. All right, ushers, please lead us. Congratulations to the class of 2019. Good luck as you start your medical education. And at this point, I was going to say, give yourselves a hand because you all look splendid. I'd like to now welcome your Honor Council President, Mr. Dane Nickel, to the podium to lead you in the reading of the Honor Pledge.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dane Nickel, and I am your Honor Council President. It is my pleasure to be here today welcoming you into the Ross University School of Medicine community. I will be leading you in the Honor Pledge, but I want to give it some context. As a physician, we are held to a higher standard of professionalism, which means we are to treat everyone we meet with respect, equality, and without judgment. These are not easy, but can and must be done in order to be the best physician we can possibly be. With this in mind, I ask you to stand and repeat after me. Well, you're already standing, so that's good. As a student at Ross University School of Medicine, I do hereby accept the honor system. I received the student handbook and am fully aware of the honor code and constitution and student code of conduct contained within. I agree to read and become familiar with the honor code and constitution and the student code of conduct. Accordingly, I resolve to refrain from conducting myself in a manner that is unbecoming of a medical professional. I acknowledge that in support of the honor system, it is my responsibility to report any observed violations of the honor code or student code of conduct. I understand that with any violation of the honor code or student code of conduct, a plea of ignorance will not be acceptable, and the violations may result in my permanent dismissal from the university or limitations to my ability to successfully complete my medical education. I pledge that I shall endeavor at all times to create a spirit of honor of my chosen profession by upholding the honor system and helping others to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nickel. Mr. Kyle Zakar is the president of your Student Government Association. As he makes his way up here, you may be seated.
All right. Good afternoon, honored guests of the Dominican government, Dean Flaherty, Dean White, and the faculty and staff that have joined us today to celebrate this great milestone in the lives of these students gathered in this room today. Semester 1, congratulations. You guys made it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. On behalf of your colleagues in semester 2 through 5, let me be the first to formally welcome you to Ross University School of Medicine. My name is Kyle Zakar, and I am the president of the Student Government Association this semester. I'm from West Bloomfield, Michigan, where I attended Oakland University, which apparently is
First on the list, yes.
so, yeah. And graduated with a BA in biology. Graduated over a year ago, and I was sitting in the same exact spot as you guys, not even a year ago. Or actually exactly a year ago. Anyway, we're all here sharing the same exact dream, the dream of becoming a great physician. On your new journey, you're going to be facing a lot of challenges. School being one of them, and another one being adapting to your new home. We are in Dominica, and for many of us, it's completely different from where we were raised. It's not Canada, it's not the United States, or any other country, for instance. It's beautiful, though. There's no Starbucks at every block. There's no malls or movie theaters. I mean, I kind of miss it. I know you guys probably started to miss it, too. But most importantly, you guys are going to have to get used to sometimes lack of indoor plumbing, especially during hurricane season. There's going to be no water to shower in. But we learn to adapt. Every single one of these experiences will have a positive impact on our lives, and these same exact experiences are going to mold us into better physicians. We stop taking everything for granted, and we learn to appreciate even the smallest things. Semester 1 is going to be tough, possibly one of the toughest semesters you've ever had in your life. You're going to need all the support you can get. For some of you, it might just be your family and friends, while for others, it might just be your favorite professor. But no matter what, you should know that the Ross faculty and advisors are here for you and want you to succeed. There will be a lot of information thrown at you to the point that you might feel hopeless, feel like you want to give up. I mean, I've been down that road before, and it's not fun. But honestly, I had a great professor, she's sitting down there, who was actually there for me the entire time. She helped advise me and helped me get through everything, and her sound advice is what kept me going. So, I mean, if you guys have any other questions, I'm here for you guys. SGA is here for you guys. Feel free to email me, sgapresident@rossu.edu. Semester 1. My best wishes go out to all of you as you guys progress through these next 3 semesters. You'll work hard and become a physician. This is our top priority, and I know you guys have told yourselves that over and over again. But at the same time, make sure you make time for yourselves in between your blocks of studying. My biggest regret on this island, my first year here, was confining myself to just this campus. It wasn't until my 3rd semester, last semester, where I was actually able to participate in activities off campus, where I was truly able to appreciate what what Ross University had to offer besides great education. So please, attend clinics put on by the different clubs on the weekends, go to the beach with a few friends, go explore Dominica outside of this 1-mile radius. I've seen the Facebook photos that some of you have posted just right outside your bedroom. So that's just outside your bedroom. Imagine what you guys can see outside of just this 1-mile radius. So take time out of your 16 months here on this island and enjoy it. And because that's what you're going to use to charge up and continue your studying. Because this is one experience that no American university is going to be able to provide for you. So to finish off, you're all here right now chasing your dreams, and Ross is giving you every single tool to help you become the best physicians possible. Work hard, do your best, because next thing you know, you'll be finished with this semester, and on to the next one, and on to the next until you become the physicians you are all meant to be. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Zakar. At this time, I would like to invite Drs. White, Flaherty, and Dobby to come forward and assist with the presentation of gifts for our guests. Dr. Flaherty is presenting flowers to Mrs. Savron. Dr. White is presenting a gift to our white coat speaker. Dr. Dobby is presenting a gift to our white coat speaker's father. And Dr. Flaherty will present this last bouquet to Ms. Cherry Joseph. For those of you who don't know, she's Dr. White's better half. He says much better half. I would like to thank all our presenters, our dignitaries, our guests, faculty and staff, and our current students who assisted with today's ceremony. And I'd like to give I'm especially thankful to our new students for a very successful and I hope inspiring and motivating white coat ceremony. Please stand for the Retreat of Colors. Please remain standing for the departure of His Excellency, Mr. Charles Savran, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Savran. Please remain standing for the departure of the Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, Acting Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Please be seated. At this time, we'll allow our visiting dignitaries, visitors, and faculty to depart first, after which our ushers will escort you out of the auditorium, where you are welcome to join us for refreshments.